Principal Sanders here, and we have a treat for you all today on our podcast. And students, we are just excited because with you at the table here is a legend, a Doherty legend, and he goes by the name of. I'm gonna let him introduce himself.
Stanley Floyd.
The one that they say, Mr. Floyd, the same Stanley Floyd that beat a horse in racing. And I was just flabbergasted when I heard this. And we got him here back at his stomping ground at 1800 Pierce Avenue. And we got some of our seniors, track students, and our track coach, Ms. Wanda Salisbury. But I'm going to let y'all go around and introduce yourselves.
Jaquavis Hallman, Zatirius Griffin.
Great. Grace Smith.
Wanda Salisbury.
And the legend himself. Hey, let's start out. Students, do y'all got any questions for Mr. Floyd today?
Yeah. How does it feel like being back home?
Oh, I am overwhelmed. I'm gonna put it this way because this is. I'm like, man, I can't explain it. That's for being humble, but man, this is unreal. It's really, truly unreal. It's great. It's great.
Has a lot changed since you've been?
Ooh, I'm walking around the school now. I don't even recognize the school. Man, y'all don't know how good you guys got it. This is something I have to talk about when I get back home. Well, Houston, this is always be home, but when I get back to Houston, I'm gonna tell my kids and my grandkids, I said, man, I didn't recognize my high school. It was on the level of college.
Wow.
Yeah, that's the truth. This is something that I didn't anticipate seeing this state where you guys are now. I was an RTV major of radio television in college, and looking at this here and what you guys have to offer in high school, it's really impressive.
I want to ask a question. Quay, you're going to be over in, you got a full ride to D1 school. Where's that school?
Houston, Texas. I've been in Houston.
Wait a minute, you going to U of H?
Say it again.
A&M?
Texas Southern.
Texas Southern. Oh, that's Houston. That's walking distance from one another. We all integrated, yeah. That's my grandson. He's at U of H. He's the third leg guy on U of H strike team.
Okay.
So that's a connection right there. I just thought about it. I put the connection together. So y'all probably need to share information because when you go out there, you got a hometown legend right at your fingertips. He says walking distance.
And I have connections over at TSU. Matter of fact, the head track coach, Clyde Duncan, he was my coach.
Okay.
Coach Clyde Duncan, I set 3 world records under his tutorship.
Any question right here?
How was it back then when you was running track?
Well, here or on the pro circuit? It was a learning curve. I'm gonna put it that way. Definitely a learning curve because you come from Albany and you go to college, and by the time you 18, 19 years old, you're traveling the world. And you had a lot of good, you had a lot of bad because it became a business as well. And at that time, talking about years ago, people wasn't really open to give you guidance or to tell you, no, that's not a bad deal or that's a good deal. So you kind of feel your way through. But as far as the competition side of it, you competed against people all over the world. It was a unique experience. It was a unique experience because the next guy lined up against you, you may look over, he ain't going to get me. Colors, say races, here we think, we what it is. Over there, hey, it's a whole different animal. It's a whole different animal. So, put it like this, around the world, you're in that top 10 bracket. Any day, one not run the other. And it wasn't like what it is now, but you got a few dominant runners. Back then, anybody on that line had a chance of winning. So, being in the top 10 in the world at that time, the number 1 guy can win or the number 10 guy. You always had to be ready. They were gunslingers.
Grace, you got anything?
In high school, what steps did you have to take to get?
What now?
Like when in high school, what steps did you take to get where you are now? Getting up early and all.
What step? Hard work. If you ask me what I had to do, humble, follow what your coach is always telling you, educators where you are here now, and don't ever lose perspective, and also don't never forget where you come from, and also never let your head get too big. So that's another thing too. A lot of people say egos, attitudes, and everything else, because you always have room to grow. And And I tell people, even my kids, I always tell them, hey, you're not at the top of the hill. You'll never be at the top of the hill because the way I see the world, that man come through with the money, he can buy the hill you standing on. So you always got to be on your P's and Q's. You're always trying to grow and move forward. As far as your growth level, it should never end.
What are some challenges you faced when you got to the next level?
What changes I faced? I was able to buy me a real car. No. When you get to traveling, you get to learning about other cultures, different countries, and the stuff that we would say here, and just jokingly, it could be offensive to them. And in a lot of cases, when we're traveling, we people all over the world going to these meets. So you sit and talk and you listen around the world. Like you find more people speaking English and Spanish, so you can. Those are the two dominant languages. You really learn a lot. And when you go, really, I spent a lot of time in England. The culture, plays like operas and stuff like that. I never were exposed to it, so I would see stuff like that on TV. But here, I found myself being invited to attend them. Spent a lot of time in Italy. Pretty much the same thing. You really have to adjust to their social norm because their norm is not our norm. You're having a good time joking and everything else. You may find yourself locked up, but it's just when you travel, growing how things are, you just got to learn to adapt. If you don't know what the situation is, it's best to keep your mouth closed. Yeah, you figure it out. Yeah. So like I said, it's a learning curve, and those things are still in place because by the time I got out of the sport, my last international competition, I think I was about 30, 31. From the time I was 18 to 31, I've seen big changes in this sport. What you're seeing now is definitely few steps ahead of when I was out there. My oldest daughter, she was on the track circuit for a few years. Just by traveling with her, I've seen the difference between when I was competing and now when she's competing. Definitely, the money is definitely a lot better. We getting exposure down this sport. That's the good thing. You can make a living in track and field, but you got to put the time in the work. In the 80s, we had to smuggle money back into the U.S. Okay, we had to get the money on the table. Then it finally broke open where they say pro track, and there was a lot of things that hold us back from getting compensation, but it broke wide open years later. And now you guys get to that point. We'll pave the way for you guys. It's okay to say Nike gave me this, Nike or Adidas gave me that, or it's a business. And I'm gonna tell you one thing: you may not know this, but I'm on tape here. You get out now, you at the top of your game. Females, the same thing. Okay. If your intent is to go there, finish school, move on, like I said, this right here, you got to trade as well. And shoe companies will pay your tuition and put you on contract and pay for your school and pay your coach. So it's kind of like, I would say, NASCAR racing or NHRA drag racing. If you good, they will provide you a pit crew to make sure when you represent Nike, Adidas, Tiger, you got the best of the best. You don't give up. You get to that point.
That's some very strong stuff. You got some, coach?
I do. Being a track runner myself, coming from a big family of track runners, running middle school, high school, college level, and could have been the next level if I would have been persistent with it. Now I have, for the last 20 years, been coaching middle school, high school. So my thing is, or my question is, how can I pour into them more? Or what are some suggestions and to pour into them to get that mindset changed to compete?
As a coach, and like I said, just like yourself, you really have to have that rapport. And I always tell people, I say, you really have to, I call it adopting kids. And because if you want the kids to excel, they got to have that relationship with their coach. You know how that goes, coach. And just like you mentioned, you want to Texas Southern.
Yes, sir.
Coach Duncan and I, when I left Auburn at the U of H, man, although Coach Tellez was the head coach, Coach Duncan was the hands-on coach with me. And we had that relationship. I'm saying, you got to have that relationship. And I don't know how the system works now because if I'm coaching, I'm going to call your house at night. Hey, man, you got to be on the track tomorrow. No, you're not hanging out. You become a surrogate parent, and that's the kind of nature of it. And I stopped coaching, I guess, about 10 years ago, really, just every day, every day, but I still work with kids. And if I see kids, no matter what track club or what college, they may say, hey, Coach Floyd, can you help me out? I help any kid out. And the thing is, it's just the relationship. And once the kids have faith and believe in the coach, no telling how far you can take them. And to be honest with it, that's what a lot of the kids need really to excel. You know, sometimes they're not getting it at home. Sometimes they don't have, the parents don't have the time, or other family members don't have that time. But it's going to fall upon that coach that's really in their lives to bring whatever's in there out. And I've learned that, and I have adopted kids that I call it adopting kids that I'm coaching. They're spending the night at the house. We go on the road. I'm taking care of their expenses because these are good kids. They got a lot of potential, and my job was that I would tell the parents, just believe in what I'm doing. I said, if we don't get a full scholarship for your child, we're gonna get something. And that's what I told all the parents of all the kids that I was working with. And I just thank God, probably 95% that I was working with got scholarship. Some didn't get a full ride, some got a partial ride, but they got something. But their agreement with me as a coach, you got to put the time in. You have to put the time in. If you don't put the time in here competing, which obviously you guys have put some time in, because y'all finna go to college, y'all that next level. So you got to keep continuing to put the time in. Don't stop just because you got the scholarship. You can move on behind that, or a championship, Olympic team, other international leagues that you can compete in. And just put the time in, and you're going to a good coach. I know Coach Duncan personally. So you didn't say where you was going or where you
Oh,
was
I'm a
going.
junior.
Okay. National Guard. National Guard. My son just retired from the Air Force 2 weeks ago, 20 years. 20 years. So you just got to be persistent, coach. The only thing you can do is just give them love and still into them what you have, your life experiences. Sometimes, you just got to hug them, say, it's going to be all right. Don't let one race take you down. You got to hang in there.
Well, I'm the not a daughter high Trojan, but trust me when I tell you, I have my daughter graduated from this fine institution, and her name is Kristen Belk, and her mother, Angela Johnson, graduated from this fine institution. And also my cousins, first cousin, which you attended school with, the Lesters.
Oh, yeah.
Donna
Oh, yeah.
Lester, Carl Lester,
Oh, yeah. Oh,
Kathy
yeah.
Lester, and the twins. We graduated
Okay.
together. Keith and Kenneth Lester. So,
Okay. Oh, yeah.
So I'm I'm no stranger to East Albany. No stranger to this fine institution. I want to just share quickly with everybody that the event is with Stanley Floyd is this Saturday, March 22nd, at Hugh Mills Stadium. The cost is $8 adults, $5 students. We want you to get there early. But what I've been hearing you talk about, and that's the reason why I felt compelled to initiate to get a track to do this in your name. We have Alice Coachman Davis, first African American woman to win an Olympic gold medal.
Right.
We have a relays after her name. The late Lewis Smith, we have relays named after him. But through recreation and parks, you are the first, when we say the first, to do it under the name that everybody can take part of it and rejoice in it, regardless of what talent you have. Now, you mentioned something about hard work.
Oh, definitely.
Effort doesn't require talent. Now, talent may put you in a position, but if you don't have the effort, if you don't have that effort, that will separate from the men from the boys and the girls from the women.
Yep.
That's what separated them. And watching you as a kid, watching you run, and even watching Wanda. I watched Wanda when she was in high school. She was a beast, but the kids don't understand when she was running. I mean, seriously, she would just physically, her mindset would just set on just winning. But when she lost, she didn't take her L that well, but she learned how to. I watched her from middle school to high school, and but watching you, I'm just so excited, man, just to be here to say we did it, we made this happen. But you had to say yes to it. And I don't think people fully understand, Stanley, what it means when I say this school-based athletic tracking, the school-based what we're doing. It ain't just track and field. We're doing women basketball. We're about to do it with softball and volleyball. But when the kids benefit from it, kindergarten through 5th grade, 6 through 12, we pouring something back into their youth.
Definitely.
Now we can be able to compete at a level when they become their age.
Right.
See, they don't got that training early. And when they become the juniors and the seniors, they're going to be, this program going to set us apart because we put in the effort.
Right.
We got the talent. We always had the talent. But now we put in the effort. So we asking everybody, the Trojans, the entire city of Albany. Now, it's just not for public school. I want people to know that. It's for private, homeschool. If you can run, if you can throw, and if you breathe, we want you out there. So we appreciate you coming home and allowing us to use your name, the Stanley Floyd.
No problem. I have no problem with that. I wish you guys would have done earlier. We were a little further along.
I know, man.
But I'm just humbled and happy that this is happening. Yeah. And I in my wildest dream, I would never thought this day would be a day I would be at Doherty High School. And
it's long overdue.
Let's say being flabbergasted, amazed, and surprised, and like what I was saying earlier. A lot of times, see, I didn't know all this was happening. It was just kind of one of them deals where.
Do this for me. Tell them about the trip you visited, toured the high school track at the Doherty track for the first time since you left school.
Oh, I went out there yesterday.
Yeah.
I
Tell us about it right quick. That was a funny story.
My brother and I, my son, we went out to the track yesterday. Walked around, and I'm looking. I had to touch the track. Touch it. I'm like. After
they don't understand. Tell them what you running on. That's why
we were running on dirt, man. Hey, Coach Davis will tell you, that was the time. Yeah. And man, I was spikes for about that long in our shoes. I mean, because our mindset that it sounds crazy, but if you're running and the bigger the hole you were digging when you were running, you were running faster. Yeah. But check it out. But at the time, it was how long are your spikes today? Man, I got the 3/4. I got the inch. Man, the dirt hard today. We thumping the ground. The dirt's hard. We ready. Then you see the what you call it? Call them the roller packers. Yeah. You know how they come out back in the day and pack the dirt down and put the chalk lines on. And yesterday, have seen $1 million tracks, multi-million-dollar tracks on the circuit, and when I went out there, I just thought maybe the track was gonna. You have some tracks that got the asphalt, and you got a thin layer of ground up recycled tire parts. So yesterday, I just found myself doing this. I was walking the track, I got down and touched the track. I said, man, this is good right here, man. Got a little bounce to it, and just doing those things. And I'm like, this is good. Then I said, well, let me go over to the side of the track so I can see the actual side of the track and the composites. And I said, man, I'm looking. Man, this stuff's got some depth to it. I'm like, did I start bouncing up? They got a little bounce to it. I said, man, this is all right here. Man, there was right. And I didn't expect the track to be 8 lanes. Like, it's been a while since I've been here. I've seen a lot of schools in Houston who still have 6 lanes. Big school got thousands of kids with a 6-lane track. Okay. I was really impressed. With
So that means your time would have been what back? If you'd ran on that track back then, it would have been what?
I would have been running 10-1s coming out of high school.
Oh,
Easy.
wow.
Wow.
Yeah. Because 10-1s in high, no, I would have been running 10-1. Because my freshman year in college, a year later, I was running 10-0. Yeah. And that's the big difference. Like, we're running on dirt, we're running 100 yards. But if we had that track, only God knows what we would do. because the thing is, you see the little kid down in Florida, Quincy Watts?
Yeah.
Coach Davis will tell you, I was anchoring 45 in the quarter with no problem. And if people don't know this, when I was recruited at Auburn, I was recruited as a quarter mile. I won the indoor conference in the 400. I won the 60 and the 200 conference. But people don't know, hey, but we knew here that I could run a hell of a 400.
Oh, I know.
Yeah, but and I didn't run it. I ran the relays and the short sprints, and I let Coach Davis and another friend of mine, handle that. We had a little different thing. You do your thing, I do my thing, and what's called we call him Skin. I can't think of his name now. He gonna do his thing in the distance, but we had it all laid out. It sounds crazy, but when we pulled up to a track meet, no matter what, Tilston, Sylvester, whoever this meet was, when they seen that daughter Trojans came off that bus, they started shaking heads. They already knew. They already know. They already know. They already knew. And because we put the work in. We put the work in. You know, at the time we had Coach Lynch and Coach Hicks. Coach Hicks was really our hands-on coach. When I tell you, we worked, and we worked hard. Even on Sundays, when we thought we was off, they gonna call us up and say, hey, we gonna go on this 5-mile run. We going to the sand dune. We going here, we going there. And I used to ask myself, what in the world I'm doing over here on a Sunday running 6 quarters back to back? 8 quarters back to back. Well, y'all got a minute and a half, 2 minutes. But, coach, we believed in our coach so much, we did not question him. We did it. We got out there like, man, me and Bitch and the rest of the guys, we cursing in our mind.
Right.
But we cursing out, man, you believe this? Man, we out here running 6, 8 quarters a day on a Sunday. We should be at home. But we knew we had to do it to get to that next level.
Effort doesn't require talent.
Oh, we had to do it.
Effort doesn't
We
require
had to do it. We didn't get there by just saying, man, we can do this. We're going to do it off just talent. We had to put the work in. You can be fast, lightning, but if you can't hold that speed 30 meters, it ain't going to work.
Right. And I tell them all the time, and they laugh at me when I say, I'm a graduate of Monroe. And before they did the renovations at Monroe, we had a dirt track.
Oh, I remember.
And running on that dirt track as a freshman, I think my thoughts were, is it child abuse or is it real work? Because I would run with the tug of war rope around my waist. And I would run with a tie attached to that rope.
Right.
And 5-pound weights in my hand. And like you said, I still had a time that I had to complete a quarter in.
Right.
So running a quarter then was hard, but as the years got older, I was able to run a quarter with no time.
Right.
So I took on the work ethic. Yes, did I goof off? Yes. Did my coach stay on me? Yes, because he saw so much in me.
Right.
And so that's why I try to instill in them. It's not that I'm fussing. I see so much in you, and I expect more out of you. So that's why I stay on them the way I do.
Right. And I'm going to tell you, young guys, you're going to leave high school, and especially if you're going to be in Houston, you're going to be around athletes, pretty much, say, grown men. 18, 22, 23. And a lot of the stuff that you guys are doing now, it sounds crazy, but as far as maturing strength wise, mentally wise, uh, I'm gonna give you a workout. I'm not saying just during the fall season when we getting strength and just to run. We gonna build up, but once we get outdoors, we gonna be coming through the quarter and 46 in practice. 200s, we coming through the 20.5, 20.4 in practice. Then we gonna run some straightaways, so they're not gonna time those. So pretty much, if you got 3 quarters in a workout, you run 46s, full recovery, 46, 46. You may come back, one day you may do a series of 4 or 5 200s. And every one of them gonna be at least 21 or 20 points. I've seen Carl and Leroy and myself, we running 20.2, 20.4 in practice. And when I said the indoor world record in the 60, I knew I was gonna do it because the way we train at a level where, especially on the track circuit, the pro circuit, you're already in shape because you built yourself up during that part of the season. So we always believed in quality versus quantity when it was competition time. And the true sprinters, the 100-meter guys, we always working on fast twitch fibers and being explosive. We lift weights, we do a lot of things to achieve that. But in most cases, we're working out over distance. The 100-meter guy, we can be run 250s. That's how you run. That's your forte. That's your bread and butter. The 100 meters. So once we're in shape, we train pretty close to the distance that we're competing in. So you can always be sharp at that distance. You always got to be ready. And the 400 guys pretty much consisted of a lot of 600 meters, 500 meters in practice. It's still over distance for them, but you need that strength and that endurance. Because I would tell a guy in a heartbeat, Stan, today I'm doing 150s, I'm doing 120s, and I'm going through my cycle, building up your transition in your race. Well, why aren't you running further than that? I would tell him, because I'm not running that in competition. Because that's when things become specialized. And you guys will understand this later, that don't compete outside of the realm or train outside of the realm once you're in shape. Focus in on what your revenge is. And you always have to keep that in mind. Because you take a sprinter and you have him running 400 meters every day, yeah, he's going to be stronger, but he's going to be slower because his fast twitch fibers are going to start slowing because overtraining for a shorter distance. So it's kind of one of them things. You got to keep all that in perspective. But if you got one of the athletes that can run 100 all the way up to the 400, you do some over distance, like 600, 500 on some days. Then you also make sure you got that speed work incorporated during the course of that week so he can maintain his turnover, or she can maintain her turnover. So, once you get to that level, college is going to be that way too. It's going to be that way. And the coach is going to say, well, we did this during the fall, but we're not going to do this in the spring. And you may say, well, I worked harder than this in high school, but the game is going to change. Okay, you recruiting the 1 and 2, so we're gonna give you some over distance, but this is your forte. So, and I used to compare my high school workout to what I was doing in college, but my high school workout was harder, but I had to put the time in. So when I was recruited, and they were saying, man, this kid can run 400 all the way down to the 20. You know what I'm saying? But it got me where I needed to be. But as I got older, I seen different ways of preparing for me to gearing up or you gearing down, and how to cycle your body strength-wise during the off time and the prime time. So you guys gonna do a lot of growing in the sport, and you will see how these things gonna come about, and the relationship you have with your coaches. That's no matter what sport. It's gonna a part of what you do and how you progress. And also, I'm not gonna, I say I want to get on this subject. You also gotta have faith. You gotta believe in what you're doing. Because what you guys are doing right now, you have baseline talent. And you also gotta look at life like this. Why do I have this talent that you have right now? And you look around and look at other kids your same age. Why am I being this kid? Why am I being that kid? You gotta be careful and thankful of your blessings. And you gonna have the two. If God given, it's gonna be gifted. But you gotta stay with it. You gotta stay with it. And I used to tell people at one point, people thought I was cocky. No, I never been cocky. I was kind of like, you have to go there. You hear the saying, you have to go there in the spirit before you go there in the physical. You got to go there in the mind before you go there in the physical. You got to see yourself doing it. When you see yourself doing anything in life, and you stick with it, eventually it's going to happen. And people would ask me, Stan, why you feel that way? You know what I tell them, Coach? I already seen it. I already seen it. You know how sometimes you fall asleep with stuff on your mind, and you doze off, and now you're dreaming about it.
I gotta leave.
Okay.
Before I leave, I just simply want to just challenge all the Doherty Trojans out there to please come and participate and support you on Saturday and all the other schools, because this is a good thing. I want to say thank you again. I got another event coming up. But thank you again, and thank you to the Trojan family and Mr. Sanders for making this happen. I appreciate you. Thank you so much.
I appreciate you.